10:30 to see a movie? I'm so impressed. My name's Janelle Riley. I'm an editor at Variety. Thank you so much for coming out. I would say I hope it was worth it, but I know it is because I love this movie. And I'm so thrilled to welcome some guests for today's discussion with Saltburn. First up, we have the film's writer-director. She is an Emmy-nominated actor and Oscar-winning screenwriter. Please welcome Emerald Fennell. Okay, they're all coming. Archie, Madekwe, Elordi, Keoghan. I know, that's what I said. I had these really nice intros prepared for each of you, where I was really gonna hype you up. So
just
do them now.
Go now.
Yeah, let's do a take two. No, it's all good. Thank you all so much for being here. Congratulations on, I'm just gonna say, a really fun movie. Yes. We're all twisted, aren't we? No, I was saying, and these are actors. They got up at 10:30 a.m. to come out and see this. So this is, this is an audience, actually, of your fellow SAG-AFTRA actors. And so I always like to start by asking, how did you get your SAG card? And this is a little weird because you're all not from here. So you might have been acting for a while before you actually got the SAG card.
Yeah.
But let's start with Emerald, who is also an actress, we must say.
I know that. Yeah. Sorry. I have never worked in America as an actress.
Are you kidding?
So hopefully one day I will. I'll get that card one day.
I'm sure some people here have scripts for you if you're looking. That's incredible. Archie, for you?
It's so interesting. Actually, the idea of getting the card is so. I think it's an American thing. I hear that all the time, but I don't know. I don't even have a card. I just know
you do.
I know I paid the dues.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
I owe the money.
I guess it was a TV show C that I did, and then my team just sorted it out. I don't know. I'm a part of SAG, and thanks union, I guess.
Yeah. Jacob.
I'm the opposite. I'm a proud member, and I have my card in my wallet. No, I think I've pretty much only worked in America.
Really?
Yeah, so I've had one since I started, I think. But I also think I owe my dues, maybe.
Same. I know I owed him a bill. But yeah, I don't know where my card is.
You should really pay up because you need to get your Saltburn screeners.
I know.
Yeah. Do you remember the first movie you did in America, or the first show?
I don't know. What was it? I'm not really sure.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of sound like I've done so many movies.
You have. No, you have.
American Animals?
Hmm?
American Animals?
Oh yeah, that would be it.
That's American Animals. That would make sense. Okay. But as I mentioned, Emerald, you're a writer, director, producer, and you are also a fantastic actor. Is there anything you're bad at so that we can maybe feel better about ourselves?
Depends who you are. Sometimes I'm bad at everything. No, I am bad. I'm everything else. I'm terrible mother. Really bad. Really fucking bad. They don't know who I am. Yeah, I can barely function.
Well, again, congratulations on a fantastic second film, I'm just sort of curious because there's so much in this movie going on at once, and it's so complex and it works on so many levels. What was sort of the initial spark or inspiration that caused you to sit down and write Saltburn?
I think I wanted to write something about desire, and the kind of desire that just gets you by the throat and pins you against the wall. I've been thinking about it for a long time, and I think it makes sense to me now that this is the movie that I wrote during lockdown, because I think it's a movie about what happens when you can't touch people, when you can't touch the thing you want to touch, and when all of the things of being human, the fluids of being a human are forbidden. So you never quite know how these things creep up on you, but now I think I have a bit of distance. I feel like that's, that was what I wanted to talk about.
Does it start with a line or an image or just sort of a feeling?
It started with Oliver turning up and saying I wasn't in love with him. And then I saw him licking the bottom of a bathtub. So I kind of knew what the movie was then. Like, oh, hi.
And for the actors, I'm curious what interested you in being a part of this film. And Archie, I was saying backstage, I find Farley such a fascinating character because he's like Oliver in that he is an outsider, but he is in this family. What was sort of your reaction when you read the script?
I mean, I've said this a couple of times, but the route into it was quite unconventional because I probably didn't read the script until my fourth audition. It was under lock and key for so long. We had
4 auditions.
Yeah, bro. So
You know what?
I
wish some people had actually auditioned.
some.
Oh my.
I didn't mean to start this. I don't mean this.
Farley, you troublemaker.
My bad. We just auditioned. I was just auditioning with monologues. I think a couple that Emma would have written, and a Harold Pinter monologue, and I had to do them in different accents. I had no idea what I was auditioning for. And then it was maybe a 4 auditions down the line where I finally read the script. I just thought, thank God, this is incredible because all this work would have been, and what such a waste of time it wasn't. It was just so good, and Farley was just. I think on the page, and I keep being told, oh, he's so mean, he's just like, and he's a villain, but I don't feel that way, and I feel like there were some things that on the page maybe felt mean, and I was really excited to unpick them and work out where they were all coming from, and yeah, and then we just kept adding to that and just having fun with it. It was just such a fun character to play. Is that you taking the mic or taking a fly? What are you taking?
There was a piece of fluff flew.
But take the mic.
I thought it was a metaphor for something. I didn't
You've spoken too much.
No, I don't think he's mean at all. He is actually trying to protect his family, and he's, yeah.
It's defense mechanism. It's armor.
May I ask, so you didn't read the scripts, but you knew you were doing these monologues. Were you going in just on the basis that it was an Emerald Fennell project?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I was obviously a fan of Emeralds and was down to do whatever she was doing, and so I was just along for the ride and working really hard at it. Yeah.
Speaking of people who aren't terrible, Jacob, I find on I came out wrong. I meant the character Felix.
Fair.
Yes. No, I was just telling him actually the other day I did a Q&A with him and everyone was like, he's so nice. And I was like, what did you expect? Like,
No.
the character of Felix in the range of like the worst people, he's definitely at the bottom. He's actually the most probably decent person despite his family, which I think is actually a testament to him. What did you sort of make of this character when you read him?
I think it kind of depends how you look at it, because there is this the world that Emerald sort of showed me in which he kind of is really vile in the same way that everyone else is, you know what I mean? But in the way that kind of makes everyone good at the same time. But for me, immediately, I just kind of, not to be too kind of dicky about it, but I had this idea that sort of through the script, he's just like a lightning bolt of sunshine. Like he has to be up and it has to be gold. So I just sort of was trying to like personify that, I suppose, which is, you know, a lot more fun than playing someone like, you know, shitty.
No, someone described him to me as, well, he's nice, but he's not good. Right. And I was like, oh, that's exactly what it is.
But then it's really like, you know, who is, you know, 24 hours a day if you like watch yourself. Everyone does something a little wrong, you know.
And I don't mean to open a hornet's nest, but was it an audition process or?
Yeah, not 4.
How many?
No, I did. I had to work really hard for it, actually. First, I got to meet with Emerald, and we met in, I'm just going to say it was like Barbie's office. Everything was pink.
Sorry, it wasn't my office, it was the Lucky Chap office.
It was a Lucky Chap
I should
office,
say.
right. But you were sat back, like in this office, like, this is my office. No, but you did tell me it wasn't your office immediately. So we met, and Emerald was a super super specific, but also incredibly vague. She was like, there's this movie, and there is going to be some guys in it that do stuff, and one is quite good, but and then there's a bad one who is but, and then she goes, so yeah, anyway, nice to meet
Just say,
you. Good impression.
I was not allowed to show anyone the script, and I'd been told quite firmly by some frightening gentlemen that I was not allowed to talk about it. Therefore, I was trying to kind of get the measure.
But you did.
Okay.
I think, and I, from that point, I knew that regardless of what the script was, I wanted to make the movie. And then a little bit later, I was in London, and I sort of got to read in the room with her, and we did an audition, and then luckily I got it.
Did you ever do a Harold Pinter monologue, or was that just Archie?
No, the Harold.
What's your movie?
No, sorry. It's just the Harold Pinter monologue was not for. It was for very different everyone had a different thing to do.
Oh,
depending on who they were
interesting.
playing.
I just think it because I can see why the character of Farley you would use a Harold Pinter monologue. It makes perfect sense. So did you have a different one for Jacob?
I had the movie. I had the scenes.
I'm
It
so
just
sorry.
feels wrong.
We need to talk.
No! I was so excited about everyone coming back.
Barry, for you, what did you make of? It's just a meal of a role. It's like it's Shakespearean and Gothic, and he is so flawed. But and again, maybe just me, but I found myself kind of rooting for Oliver.
Thank you. Not many do, but no. I met with Emerald to chat about it. I mean, I think she wrote it with my mind. I think, yeah. Is that what you said? I don't know. That's what I was told, anyways. But no, when I read it, it was like, I mean, it's just, yeah, I couldn't put it away. It was, it's a proper showcase for an actor. So
Yeah. When someone says this was written with you in mind, and it's a devious, almost sociopathic character, what do you say?
I mean, no pressure, isn't it? You know?
Let's settle this now. Did you write it with Barry in mind?
I think you did.
It was better than that. I didn't write it with Barry in mind, but once I finished it and we went to casting, there was no one but Barry who could do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was actually a higher level of difficulty because, yeah, it could have been anyone in the world, but it had to be him.
I mean, your whole ensemble is flawless. Rosamund Pike and Richard E. Grant, but also Alison Oliver, who's never been in a movie before. Yeah. Incredible. How did you sort of go about rounding out this ensemble? Because it's a very specific tone in the film.
I think, honestly, it's just like who's willing to audition the most. No. It's just...
Yeah, Archie!
It's the people, every single person in this movie, we're excited because we haven't seen each other, but truly, every single person in this movie is a genius, like beyond. And it's also, for me, it's about meeting them and the connection with the material as well. I want to get under it, I want to get into it, I want to meet people and sit down and know we're going to kind of have a real conversation and we're not going to pussyfoot around each other. We're going to get under the skin of something. And so that's what everyone in this just did. You know, they're just so talented, and it's a chemistry thing too. Everyone's chemistry, everyone's charisma is very unique, very different. Everyone's performance style is different and unique, and that, you know, it's about building. Yeah, it's about all of them and working with them and seeing how to like put them in a room together and just let them tear each other apart.
I am curious about that because the chemistry in this movie, and I don't just mean, you know, like with two characters, it's everybody is so flawless and electric. And I don't know if there's like, you know, some like club in Britain where you all hang out and you knew each other, or
So, house.
I knew there was a secret club. But were you able to meet and spend any time together and sort of build that bond?
Emerald had set up a really good rehearsal sort of space for us. We had 2 weeks of kind of intensive everyday block rehearsals for different parts of the film, and that was for me that was the first time that we all kind of just laid around in a room, and she gave us permission to actually, talk about the depth of the film as opposed to just getting there and shooting it. We got to talk about what it was about and got to know each other, and we had a great movement coach.
And she does a really great thing as well, where we do the read through. She listens to how we're doing it, then we do those rehearsals, and we kind of play around with it and talk about it, and then Emerald kind of goes away and maybe rewrites or adds or tweaks things depending on what we find in the room. And I think that's kind of about Emerald, as well as being an incredible actor, being a really brilliant director and actor, because she knows that thing that happens sometimes when actors get in a room and something different comes. You don't know what to expect. And there were so many moments that weren't in the script that were born out of some of those rehearsals that came later, so many scenes that were definitely not in the script when we initially read them, and then we ended up jumping into them and them making sense because we found them together, and it gives you a sense of ownership. It's lovely.
At the same time, when you get on set, is there room for improvisation, or do you just want to shoot? You probably didn't have much time because this is an independent budget.
Yes, there's always time. There's always time to improvise. I prefer to do it getting into scenes and leaving scenes, because it sort of relaxes everyone, and then you end up using it. I think once you get into the nitty gritty of the scene, it tends to be. It's so much about pacing and kind of. You don't want things. Sometimes it can get a bit blabby if there's too much improvisation. But
They're doing some space work over
this.
It's so far down. I'm like, Jesus. I wish I was Jacob Elordi.
I was just gonna say it's not for Jacob. He's just like.
It's difficult picking coffee up from the floor. I think, and also these guys are all gifted comedians. That's the other thing, that it's really hard to give comic performances like these guys do. Some of the stuff in there is just all there.
Barry, can I ask a little bit about your preparation? Because when I look at this character, it's I see an animal to some extent. I'm wondering where you even began preparing.
Which animal?
Honestly,
A wolf, like a sexy animal. Let's be honest.
I was honestly going to say a gazelle because it's very elegant.
Get killed,
Sorry.
I don't die.
I saw him as someone with horns, and especially when you're dancing, and there's
get it.
a grace to
I
it.
get it.
But, yeah.
The process was I wanted to kind of create an arc, and so I had kind of 5 different Olivers to play, 5 kind of different books, and I wanted each one of them to kind of have a different acceleration and a different tone and physicality, and to look different. So that was the kind of the layout of it, was to kind of play 5 different versions.
And did you have each one sort of written out and charted that you could refer to?
Yeah, to an extent, but I don't want to over prepare either, because I'm always up for, if Emerald wants me to go a different way, and I just want to know the character inside out, and be able to go there or there.
Because there are so many different versions of him and who he's lying to in each scene. Because sometimes I think maybe he's actually being kind of honest.
Yeah.
Other times he's lying to himself.
He's lying through the whole thing. Let's be honest.
But you probably had to play different versions of him on different on the same day.
Yeah, I did. Because we didn't shoot chronologically. Which I don't mind, but I just had different Oliver 1 to Oliver 5, and kind of even the physicality of it. I wanted him to be a bit more, with the shoulders a bit more up, or
Like a gazelle.
yeah, like a gazelle, yeah. That was the choice.
I'll just say though, it's a testament to how brilliant Barry is though, that kind of leaving there being a moment of openness, because you really don't know what you're going to get when you're in a scene, and it makes it so exciting. It makes it feel so much realer and a lot more. It makes the scenes feel a lot more electric. It made it so much more fun.
Very spooky.
God, what did I do, man? Jeez. Thanks, lads.
I've always said that you're such a great actor, and I never see you acting.
Yeah.
You just become these characters, and it is kind of eerie.
I'm definitely not Oliver.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Well, I'm wondering, like, do you have to shake Oliver off at the end of the day?
Yeah, I had a baby as well during the shoot.
Oh,
So not me
congratulations.
personally, but
Yes, but you contributed.
yeah. So I had no time to shake anything off. You know, it's just kind of straight into that.
Yeah. You can't take Oliver home with you. And
No, definitely not. Like the police would be called, and definitely. You know what I mean? Got to lock him up and keep him away. Yeah.
Jacob, you said it was actually kind of spooky to watch Barry work.
You said that?
Just now.
No, man, just putting words in my mouth. No. I was being funny. No, it's like you feel like you're. I mean, Barry is he's like the actor's actor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Barry's been making movies since well before I made movies, and his movies are the movies that you watch when you're like, I'm gonna be, you know, an actor.
I'm only 31. You know what I mean?
But it felt like plugging into sort of the source of what it is. He's like a main line of electricity, and it's just nothing. But it's like a joy, you know.
I was wondering what the atmosphere on set was like, because you're dealing with some heavy themes and material and, you know, class struggles, but it's also a really fun movie. And I especially like, you know, shooting those big party scenes. Were you allowed to have levity on set? Was it fun?
You tell me.
Didn't they have a real party when we had a party?
Yeah.
Like, and it kind of mixed into.
Really?
You know, like when the camera was, let's say, not pointing this direction, there was still a party going on. Yeah.
It was massive.
I
It
know
was
most of my job was trying to stop people from having fun.
Stop with the party. It was, you know, we had such a fun, but it was amazing. It was like a
gorgeous
gorgeous
summer
summer
holiday.
It was like boiling hot. We were in the countryside.
In that smelly
we were-
lake.
Yeah,
That
we were
pond.
swimming in like these lakes every day and
Really,
just.
these awfully spoiled, naughty kids.
Yes.
Really, like Rosamund lived at the house while we were filming, so when we'd arrive for work,
Yeah.
Mum would kind of come down the stairs,
It was a
and
bit
then
too
Emma would
real.
also be there, and Mum would playing music, and then everyone's just kind of getting up to mischief and running around on this like sprawling acreage with a castle.
I'd like to see a movie about the making of this movie,
Yeah,
actually.
you discovered a new room every day in that place.
No way.
Wait, we actually tried to make one, didn't we?
Oh yeah, yeah, and then we got given out to. We were trying to make like a documentary of the making of. You know what I mean? And they were like, all right, let's focus. We were like, we had a whole like, we were trying to get, I think, a crew in on it.
Barry
as well.
did. Barry was.
It wasn't just me. You know. Anyways, but yeah, we were focused.
I would actually think one of the hardest things about making this movie would be not laughing, especially at a lot of the stuff Rosamund Pike's character says. Did anyone ruin takes by just bursting out laughing?
Yeah.
I think me in the upstairs room, Roz and I had silly buggers, and then everybody got it, and we could not focus on
Well, that scene's not even in the film anymore, so I wonder if that's why. That scene's gone.
in the palace he played. The palace he played. scene.
Effective word, the palace. Every time we came to that line.
Yeah, that was loads of stuff. I would crack up every time I saw poor dear Pamela. There's that scene in that breakfast scene. You don't really hone in on it, but she's just eating marmalade the whole time.
With a tiny spoon.
With a tiny spoon, and I was sitting opposite her, and I just had to keep my head down the whole time.
Because we do have so many actors here, and you know we've addressed the topic of auditions and how strange they can be. Emerald, as an Emmy-nominated actress, you've obviously been on the other side of auditioning. I imagine you must bring a special empathy into the room when you're reading with other actors. Is there anything you would want people to know coming into that room, or you know the virtual Zoom room, about what you're looking for or what they can do?
Yeah, I mean, it's so horrible. You know, it's such a horrible process, and I, you know, the streets of Soho are just littered with my shame. Years of awful shame, of just like every corner is like, yeah, that's where I screwed up that Game of Thrones audition. You know,
You
just
auditioned for Game of Thrones?
I mean, who hasn't? Come on, I did.
I didn't.
You knew that.
I love that this has just become a competition about who's auditioned for what.
Even I did.
But
Messing, that's not nice.
I mean, so I think the thing for me is I think Jack Donaghy in 30 Rock describes auditioning as this grotesque carnival of human misery, and I felt very much like that as an actor. And so for me, well, it's I think Jacob and Archie would be better to describe it, but like the only thing I care about is people being comfortable and it being fun and it being an opportunity to. I don't care about people learning lines. I hate that people are expected to learn lines. I hate self-tapes. It's so unfair. It's shit. It's shit. So for people to come in on book, and and we can do it like you would in a rehearsal room, like get into it, have a chat, try it loads of different ways. I think in your audition, Archie, I was like, play this like a 5-year-old, be 5, or whatever it is, and then it's fun, and then at least both of you, even if nothing comes of it, you get the measure of each other, and you think, oh, that person was amazing, I want to work with them in the future. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's such an important part of the process, and I really hate the way that it is currently, and I'm glad that part of the strike was about all of that stuff, because it's really important. It's dehumanizing.
Emerald makes it feel like a workshop.
Yeah.
Like there was no end game or movie. When I went in there terrified with all my sort of paper and everything. Then I got in and she's like, fuck the cameras, and there's this couch, and she just kind of sat on the couch and we chat for a bit. No, but it was
nice.
There was no, it wasn't outcome based. It immediately became about two people sort of just playing in the room, workshopping on something. Maybe it's going to something for you, maybe it's helping me with something, and then you leave. And it was like an hour and a bit of playing. And a lot of people aren't like that. A lot of people sit behind a camera and challenge you and like threaten you to do well, which is.
I mean, it's a collaboration at the end of the day, you know? It is. I know I'm joking about the audition thing, but that was the refreshing thing. Was when we spoke, it was so nice to kind of have a director you admire come to you and want to collaborate with you, and you not feeling you have to kind of beg almost. This is a horrible process. It really is. You know what I mean?
But I think it was one of the nicest things about working with Emerald, from the audition process to through to making the film, because she also created that space on set. And so I think because she knows good work can only come out of an environment that feels safe and like respectful, and where you feel like freedom to play, to do those things. She set that space up from the beginning, and you can't, as Jacob said, when you feel threatened to do good work, like, there's no way that you're going to do something good. And it was just such a nice set to be on.
You always check on everyone. You know what I mean? I said that yesterday. You always check on them, make sure they're mentally okay and physically okay, and then we get to work.
I just want to point out, please give it up.
Please just be mean to me again. British.
Although you killed off most of your cast in this movie, I do want to point out that Farley is still somewhere out there. And yes, and I love the chemistry between these two. And I am completely...
Don't give her ideas, please.
You wouldn't want to visit all over again?
She's already got the idea, you don't have to give it to her.
I mean, it's the romance of the century, right?
I was rooting for them. I really was.
I think they'd be very happy together.
Me too.
Torturing each other in that enormous house for the rest of time.
No, Farley saw him for who he was and dug it.
There was a scene though, right? At the end.
We can't talk about the scenes that aren't in the film. Sorry, only just that makes me so prissy, but they're not in the film for a reason.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think the problem is that when they... I know.
I shouldn't put that out.
No, I wasn't. Sorry, I didn't mean to sort of... It's more because otherwise then that then becomes part of the film in a weird way. Yeah.
Totally understand.
Sorry.
But I did love this relationship, and if you want to make a sequel, Saltburn, just throwing ideas out there.
I'm sure I'd love a direct... Do you know what? I'd love to direct a direct-to-video version of Saltburn, like The Little Mermaid 2, with just like people who look a bit like these guys. Yes. But it's like not quite, you're like, but the house is like a bit smaller.
Who's playing me?
Who's playing Barry?
Oh God, be careful.
Who do you want to play you?
BJ Novak.
I love BJ Novak.
Yes, and he's wonderful.
That would be a huge get.
Yeah. Then who's playing Farley?
Jacob.
I don't know, some It's a basketball player that's decided
Yeah.
he's going to be an actor.
Vanity project, totally. He's a model, and he doesn't know which way is left or right, or what a camera is.
Well, again, it's such a wonderful movie. It's going to be in theaters very soon. Please spread the word. Thank you so much for coming out. Thank you all for being here.
Come on, come on, come on.